Welcome to Issues with Cartoons, the podcast about comics and cartoons. My name is Kyle.
My name is Carl.
And we are here for episode 21 of Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the 2010 fan favorite cartoon show featuring Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers. And Carl, this is Hail Hydra, a one-off standalone episode from the first season.
Yeah, episode 21. We're making our way through the show. We're kind of towards the back half of season 1.
We're in the home stretch for season 1. And you know, I was revisiting some of our earlier episodes this week and just continually reminding myself that you've not seen this show before and that this is still kind of a new corner, relatively new corner of the Marvel Universe for you. So all that being said, episode 21, what were your impressions? What did you think?
I really enjoyed this one as a one-off for a lot of things. It has a classic Marvel cliffhanger that I think is the strongest cliffhanger in the show so far.
I agree.
It's really great. We're gonna get to that.
I can't wait to talk to you.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about it because I even texted you after I saw it. I was like, this is crazy. More on that later. I thought it was really strong, you know. I think it's better than some of my thoughts on like episode 2 were kind of like shaky, but this is all around a really solid entry.
Yeah, and worth noting, so it's written by Kevin Burke and Chris Wyatt, who was the writing team that did episode 3, the Hulk episode, and they also did, I'm going to forget the title of the episode, but it was the one with Mockingbird, where Black Widow betrays Strucker and reveals herself to be kind of a double agent.
Yeah, I still want all that Mockingbird fan art to be seen.
I'm disappointed she didn't show up in this because Natasha made some moves that I don't think Bobby would have liked. But
no.
But this writing team has kind of been the team that's been following this plot thread of Black Widow and Hydra and Hawkeye and everything. And
I was surprised a lot of that gets kind of we get more answers.
Yeah, a lot of it gets resolved, honestly, in this episode.
Yeah, there's been a lot of question marks about Black Widow, but this episode really fills in some of the dots there.
Yeah.
It gives us more of that, so I was happy about it.
One thing, actually, I'm just trying to... Do you remember where we left off with Grim Reaper? Is he in the wind? I'm trying to remember, because he was not in this episode, which very heavily features Hydra.
Yeah, it would make sense he'd be there. Doesn't he get taken out in the episode of Mark Hamill? The giant monster?
with in Wakanda? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Is that the last time we see him? I don't know.
It might have been. Well, yeah, we'll have to revisit the past coverage, but...
You're right, though. It is just... It's Hydra is led by Strucker.
Yeah.
And then we have AIM, led by MODOK, and kind of those threads converge as well.
Yeah, and we've been kind of following all that since the first episode with Hydra and Stark Tech and all that stuff, and the breakout of Strucker from the vault and everything. So this is
setup.
Oh yeah, this
setup.
episode has a fantastic setup. It's a war between the two big Marvel terrorist organizations of Hydra and AIM. It's really, really fun, and it's actually impressive that they were able to confine it into one episode.
I think one thing I noticed watching this was I wanted to talk about is this episode is the intro sequence.
Yeah, it is.
In a lot of ways.
With the Hydra base, or the Hydra skull ships and the dreadnoughts and everything.
Yeah, the skull ships with the tentacles. I was thinking that while I was watching it. I was like, maybe they had this much of the show plotted out to where they knew this was happening, and then decided to do the intro. So I was thinking about that a lot. I was like,
sure.
I'm like, maybe they didn't have the ending of the show,
maybe
but they had this episode in mind.
Yeah, that's a great point. Honestly, I didn't even put that together, but you very well could be right. And certainly, I'm sure if we were to do comparisons of some of the shots, I bet there would be some similarities.
But I was pleased, though. Some really great Hulk moments.
Great Hulk moments.
Yeah,
great Hawkeye moments. Hawkeye had the opening scene. This is actually a good transition to the opening scene. I love the Hawkeye trick shot scene at the beginning where no one in the Avengers has faith in him except for Captain America. This is a great Captain America episode.
Yeah.
Honestly,
he really comes through as the founder.
Yeah, he really is like the leader of men in this. Very cool.
He's very supportive. He does a lot of different talks to different characters. We'll talk more.
Yeah. I even liked Tony in this episode, and I
know.
I
know. He was a little more bearable, less annoying.
He was righteous and not self-righteous, which I appreciated. Let's just go into it. So, like we said, there's this training sequence where Hawkeye's going to make this impossible shot, and all the Avengers are skeptical that he'll make it, which is important for later because this actually is a thing that is called back on later in the episode in a moment that I think you and I will both enjoy talking about. And then everyone's kind of ragging on Hawkeye, saying, you can't do it. It's impossible. You can't make it. And then he looks at Captain America and he says, well, do you think I can make it? And Cap says, I've never seen you miss a shot yet. And we've talked before about Hawkeye's kind of inferiority complex and his need to prove himself and everything, at least in the comics.
This is an embodiment of it.
This is that example. And just like in the comics, the person whose approval he wants the most and cherishes the most is Captain America's, because he wants to be as good as Captain America. So I loved that.
Yeah, that was a good exchange.
And I thought, and they built it up really well, where I was like, well, is he going to make it? And then he shoots the shot, and then the screen goes black, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
like,
you don't really know.
You know, and so you kind of lose that catharsis, but it is a good way to introduce Black Widow has shown up.
There's a EMP blast. It kind of takes out Iron Man for a moment.
Yeah. I was worried for him.
And he gets back up, and then Iron Man immediately tracks that there's 3 different EMP blasts all around the city, and then we get the reappearance of Black Widow. Yeah, which is great, and I like that Wasp is like Hulk Smasher, and then like six the Hulk on her, but she kind of comes clean as a double agent, and we get the setup where Hydra is preparing to invade AIM to steal the Cosmic Cube from AIM and MODOK, and you get this cool sequence where Strucker says that he wants to remake the world as if Hydra won World War II, and you get a little glimpse of kind of his fantasy of what that would look like. It's a cool setup. I like the whole idea of the 2 warring factions and stuff, and the city's kind of getting destroyed by it, you know. And then there's that added wrinkle where because we found out that Madam Viper was a Skrull in a previous episode, Fury went off the grid. And so Black Widow is kind of out in the cold, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is not to be trusted with her, and Hydra and AIM are going at each other, so she has no one but the Avengers to turn to. Yeah, Black Widow can't reach Nick Fury. She tells them about the cube, and Iron Man has doubts about it. Do you have any thoughts on that? He doesn't believe in the mystical qualities of the Cosmic Cube. I found it tracked. I mean, I think he's a scientist. Well, even AIM didn't think it would work, right? Like the whole conceit. The whole conceit is that AIM did it just to kind of fleece money off of Hydra. And then they're like, oh, crap, we think we can make it work. Like, wow, this actually is magic. This is an Indiana Jones artifact. Right. After all. Yeah, I would love to talk about the Cosmic Cube, and we'll do it more in the second half of the episode, and kind of how it was adapted into the MCU and different permutations of the Cosmic Cube. But, to me, everyone's kind of thoughts on the Cosmic Cube sort of tracked. And ultimately, for them, it didn't matter if it worked. They just knew that Hydra was going to hurt a lot of people to get it. And so that's what gets them involved. A couple notes. Giant Man proves himself very effective. I know I like to rag on Giant Man a lot on this show. Oh, yeah, he stops that carrier. Yeah, he catches it and then slams it to the ground, and, like, no one, like, punched him to knock him out this time. There's the tracer signal that Black Widow placed, and she mentions that it's on this craft, it's about to take off. And Giant Man grabs it.
Yeah, and then there's a great follow-up to that where they're like, hey, Baron Strucker says hi or whatever. And they reveal that he knew that she was a double agent, which was a good turn.
Yeah, the Hydra agent hands it to Black Widow.
And then after that is this crazy moment where MODOK's being chased and Hydra launches a missile at his ship. And MODOK does this bonkers thing where he mind controls one of the AIM drone soldier guys to basically like take the hit for him. Mm-hmm. And they're like, have to save MODOK, and they fly into the path of the missile. I was like, man, that was like really dark and twisted.
That was intense.
Yeah,
that was an intense moment for the show. Probably, I was gonna say one of the more darker moments. This they keep the action kind of light. It's always like the Avengers fighting like a horde of robots, and they all get blown up and stuff.
Yeah, the consequences aren't really there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of blood. There's not a lot of
Yeah, not a lot of teeth. Yeah, but hopefully that AIM guy's okay. I don't know if they even showed a body. What did you think? You were talking about great Hulk moments. What did you think? Well, and we actually skipped over the part where Hulk says, if you don't enjoy fighting, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that was a great line, actually.
But there was that moment where Cap tells Hulk to take care of bystanders.
Yeah, Hulk's smashing Hydra Bros for a while, with Cap. Mm-hmm. And I really like the line that Cap says. He kind of stops Hulk while he's smashing, and he's like, Hydra are the monsters, not you.
Yeah, it was really good.
And Cap calls Hulk a hero, and he's just kind of like, look, Hulk, I've noticed through all of our battles together, I've seen there's more to you, more than just this monster, which I really liked.
Oh, it was a great moment, and it just felt so interesting to me. This episode really kind of almost went out of its way to make Cap like the father figure of the team.
More so than before.
Yeah, I feel like they really tried to be intentional with him having moments with different members. Where, like, he's had moments with Tony, he's had moments with Thor and Hawkeye and Black Panther, but, like, I don't think we've had many moments of him with Hulk like this up till this point. So I really appreciated that.
No, it's been more about his relationship with Hawkeye. Yeah. It's almost like Hawkeye and Hulk have gotten all the time before this. Yeah. And you're right, this might be the first thing with Cap and Hulk.
Yeah, so
anyway, moving on.
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I'm glad that you made note of it too. So Maria Hill shows up while they're fighting Hydra.
I love this.
And
I actually love this.
And the whole thing. Oh, it was great. On it. Yeah, and we were coming up in the time when the kind of attitude that Maria Hill is showing was leading to a very big storyline when we were in high school, which is Civil War, because Hill comes down and calls the Avengers vigilantes and like says she's gonna eventually get them registered and working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and she calls herself Director,
which is how
she's no longer Agent Hill. Exactly, she's Director Hill, and she's taken over S.H.I.E.L.D.
And I'll have to double check this, but my memory of Maria Hill is she was introduced as the acting director of S.H.I.E.L.D. when Fury was in the wind in the comics because of the Skrulls that were coming. So that we are now caught up to Maria Hill, the comic version, at this point now, where she's got a very different approach than Fury. She's got a very different attitude about superheroes than Fury. And she's now in charge.
I like this whole dynamic of like the Avengers are outlaws in this world, and now S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming to wrangle them in. Yeah, it's like either become part of S.H.I.E.L.D. or get shut down. Yeah, they don't like them acting out on their own anymore. So I like that conflict on top of the AIM versus Hydra conflict, because it just added more stakes to the whole thing for me as I was watching it. I was like, I wasn't expecting S.H.I.E.L.D. to act like this. I was expecting S.H.I.E.L.D. to show up and help the Avengers, but I really like this twist of like, no, you're the bad guys too.
I think that's another thing that makes this episode so fun is the complications of those organizations and the politics between them. Yeah. It's not as simple as good guy smash bad guy. Like there's layers and there's nuance and
there's a gray area now.
Really exciting.
Yeah, I appreciated that watching it.
I just,
Yeah,
you know.
it was good.
Yeah. Meanwhile, MODOK and Strucker have kind of a face-off for the cube.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
It was fun. MODOK got taken out pretty quickly, though.
I thought too quickly.
I thought too quickly,
especially for... I don't know. I expect more.
The idea was that he can't control minds of robots, which I guess is fair. But he's also the head of, like, one of the leading science terrorist organizations in the world, so... The idea that he wouldn't have a defense against robots didn't really ring true for me.
I think it almost was done for time.
It had to have
because there's so much other stuff they want to get into.
Fair.
I personally would have loved to have seen a more drawn out Strucker versus MODOK fight.
I was kind of ready for it. Like they show up like, oh, this is it. We've been building up to this.
Hydra versus
AIM and personified in these two, but they don't really consider MODOK a substantial threat in this show, because if you go back to other appearances of him, he's kind of played as a joke and they make fun of his tiny arms and his giant head.
I mean, that Hulu show was completely like kind of riffing off of how silly the character is.
Which, you know, and that's fine, I guess, but it did rob us of an opportunity to have like a pretty interesting villain versus villain fight, which we don't really get a lot of on this show. But it, you know, again, for time, it's fine.
I'm going to say on the record, I do like this portrayal of MODOK more than MCU MODOK. Like, I like my MODOK scheming, and I know he looks silly, but I like the portrayal to be somewhat threatening.
Yeah.
I think if you make him too jokey, you lose some of that edge, and he isn't threatening anymore.
I think he's silly, but, like, he's a Jack Kirby character, right? Jack Kirby's monsters are all, like, big-headed, like, tiny-bodied.
Like Gargoyle.
Like Gargoyle, yeah. Incredible Hulk #1. Go back to episode 3 to hear our coverage. But yeah, to me, I've always kind of liked it as a visual, interesting-looking character. I think as a design, it's super compelling. You know exactly who you're looking at every time he comes on.
I think even as a kid, he was in the 90s Iron Man show.
I was going to bring this up. Go,
and
yes.
Like, even as a kid, when I didn't know MODOK by name, but I sure recognized him.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
and you know,
standout character in my opinion.
Yeah, so you know, not deserving of all the hate, and
absolutely not.
Inconsequential, pretty much in this climax. But you know, Strucker reaches for the cube, cuts to commercial, and you come back and you're seeing him reach for the cube, and then it pulls the camera back through 3 different buildings, and you see Hawkeye with his arrow out. And Ant-Man is mounting the arrow, ready to ride it. And I know you've seen this cover because I think you posted it. But it's Avengers 223. Are you familiar with this cover?
Yeah, I know that cover.
Incredible cover.
It's a classic cover.
Yeah, where Ant-Man is sitting on an arrow that Hawkeye is about to fire. And they homage that in this scene.
Isn't it in the film as well? They do
yes, it is. I forget which.
Trying to remember. Yeah.
Civil War? I think it's Civil War.
Yeah. You're right.
But Ant-Man, kind of in referencing the opening scene, Ant-Man says, "Are you sure you can make this shot?" And Black Widow very quickly says, "He'll make it." So, again, there are 2 people that Hawkeye's values their opinion above anyone else. And Black Widow is right there with it. And of course he makes the shot, and Ant-Man grows, you know, he leaps off the arrow and punches Strucker in the face, and it's a great moment.
Yeah. No, that was cool. I was glad that cover got a shout out. There's so many... This show really does a great job of covering a ton of the mythology of Marvel in a short amount of time. We're only 21 episodes in. How many comic books have we talked about covering the Marvel Universe just from this show?
And even like with this example, and I'm sure there are other examples we can point to, but even with this example where like the content of that comic, who even knows what's in that comic? I've never read the pages in between that cover. But like that cover is a pretty iconic cover for this corner of Marvel.
I think collectors are after it.
Yeah, and so it's really cool that they found a place to stick that iconography into this show. Cool. I really liked it. So Hill's talking a big game, and is pretty much ready to move on the Avengers. And then
she takes Iron Man out, basically. Shield blasts Iron Man into the dock.
But then the clouds start to form, and lightning strikes, and rain pours down, and above their heads is the God of Thunder himself, Thor, and then leaping onto a wall behind her is the King of Wakanda, Black Panther.
Right.
And like those two show up and it was used very effectively. It was kind of like a, oh crap, like they're screwed moment.
I like they didn't show Thor, they just showed the thunder.
Yeah.
They built it up.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was cool. You knew exactly what was happening.
Strucker versus Cap.
Oh, man.
And then we get, Hawkeye, Giant Man, and Hulk are fighting as well.
Yep.
And Hulk says, see, fighting is fun.
Yeah. and I bet Ant-Man didn't appreciate that. The Cap versus Strucker fight was fun because cool. Cap was pretty much just toying with him. Just kind of, he wasn't even throwing punches. He was just kind of tripping him up and kicking him and shoving him. And then Strucker uses Satan's Claw to make him Old Man Rogers and suck the life out of him.
I thought that was wild.
It was wild.
That was a wild part.
Yeah. And then you kind of get Old Man Cap versus Old Man Strucker. And in the midst of that, there's this moment where Hawkeye storms in. He says, everyone relax. I'm here to save the world. Again, I guess I have to make any time there's a good Clint Barton moment, I need to call it out. But they have really dialed into that character.
He has to call it out because he just wants everyone's approval so badly.
And that's what
he's like, look, guys, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's almost like where he's jet skiing and he's like, look, guys, I'm standing up. Everybody look over here.
Yeah, no, he's really. They've got that character figured out on this show so well, more than maybe other adaptations.
Yeah,
I really
the cockiness, the attitude,
the underlying insecurity, like it's really all there. It's really impressive. So it's kind of a game of keeping Strucker away from the Cosmic Cube. Hawkeye manages to take out Satan's Claw, and that's what gives Cap his revitalization back.
Yeah, they de-age or un-de-age him.
Yeah, they re-age him? They re-de-age him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's his normal self again.
Yeah, he returns home.
And the fight crescendos to this really, really effective moment where they both run for the cube.
And you know the
stakes, and they both touch it at the same time, and there's this big flash of light. The world flashes, and then there's also, I don't know if you saw, a little flash over in Europe. So the whole world across like the equator flashes with cosmic cube light, and then there's an additional flash over in Europe, near the Arctic Circle, and then like the cube is kind of burnt out and nothing seems to have changed.
Yeah,
such an effective like build-up though.
Yeah,
it is mysterious. Everyone's like, oh, I guess nothing happened, and so
the characters even verbalize that. The characters are like, nothing's occurred.
Yeah.
This is bizarre.
So, Hydra is defeated, and they manage to lock up MODOK and Strucker both.
They see him carting him out in class. It's almost like like something they do in like Batman the Animated Series or something.
It did feel a little bit like that.
They're on carts. It's the end of the episode. They're hauling the villains away. They're congratulating each other on defeating Hydra and AIM.
Yeah, and there's that moment too, and I alluded to this earlier, where Hill is like, this doesn't change anything. I'm going to get the president and Congress to register you and make you work for us, or we're going to shut you down. So you have that conflict kind of brewing in the background.
You're going to be S.H.I.E.L.D. or you're not going to be heroes at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Hawkeye, who's like trying to give Widow the clear, and they have this conversation where she needs to find Fury because if he's in the wind, something bad is happening. And she tries to get him to go with her, and he says, no, I'm an Avenger now, like they're my partners. Yeah. And then she kisses him and runs away.
See, I thought that romantic kiss explained a lot of like why they were together at the beginning of the show.
Sure.
And I appreciated that because I'm like, oh, okay. Like, when I was talking about at the beginning of this, filling in dots, like that answered some questions for me. I'm like, why is Black Widow hanging out with Hawkeye?
Right, she's too good for him. But yeah, and there's always been that kind of tension between those two characters, even in the comics. it's very platonic in the films.
She should be with Daredevil.
She should be with Daredevil. No, Matt doesn't deserve her though. Matt would screw that up too.
Matt's too much of a ladies' man.
Matt just needs Jesus. I don't know. And he's trying.
He needs to say some Hail Marys.
Right.
All right, so we got to talk about the elephant in the room. So it's like our episode ends.
It's a great conversation that leads to an incredible reveal.
Yeah, it's so wrapping things up. Villains are defeated. Avengers save the day. Typical Earth's Mightiest Hero episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But there is a very big twist. Kyle, do you want to reveal it?
So...
For our audience.
So they're all kind of like, well, that all seemed pointless. The thing didn't even work. What was all that fighting for? Mm-hmm. And then Hank is like, oh, but wouldn't it have been cool if it did work? And then Hawkeye says, well, you touched it, Steve. If it worked, what would you have wished for? And Cap's like, oh, I wouldn't have wished for anything. We beat Hydra and we didn't need wishes to do it. I wouldn't have changed a thing. But if you know Captain America and you know his psychology and you know kind of his biggest regret, you know what he would have wished for. And so we cut back to 1945, and all you see is the sky and a puff of clouds, and Captain America screaming, "No, Bucky!" And you remember episode 4, and you remember him screaming Bucky's name as he falls and sees Bucky explode to his death. And amidst this puff of smoke is a flash of cosmic cube light, and then from the smoke falls Bucky Barnes into the water, just like Captain America did in episode 4. Descended into the water, stares at the camera, and he opens his eyes, and he's alive.
Yeah.
Carl, we have to talk about this. This might make this show run half an hour long because I have so much to say.
It was a great reveal, and I wasn't expecting it. This is the thing that like shocked me so much. I got done with the episode. I texted Kyle immediately. I was like, wow, this Bucky twist. I did not see it coming. It's sitting on Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Obviously. Right? So, I'm excited to see where it goes, and the only other thing I want to say is it's the best cliffhanger yet.
Incredible cliffhanger.
It's great.
The payoff is phenomenal.
Leave it off.
I want to float a theory to you, and you tell me if I'm bonkers.
Okay.
Okay, it has to do with Kang the Conqueror.
All right.
Kang the Conqueror appeared first in episode 4, where he was watching the last World War II mission of Captain America. Cap falls in the water, and he's like, what happened to him?
The mini episode.
And then when he shows up later in the Kang episodes, he says, Captain America, my future is destroyed because you're an anomaly in the timeline, and I have to get rid of you because my timeline's disappearing, and it's all your fault, right?
Yeah.
And later he says, like, you started a war, and it caused all these problems. So,
I think I know where you're going.
So let's say the starting the war thing is still true. Fine. The time anomaly thing is the thing I want to talk about because that never made sense to me. I was like, well, like, sure, he's like a man out of time, but like, he was in the water. Like, he was in time. Like, he didn't get plucked out of the time stream and put back in. He's perfectly normal. Like, he was just frozen in stasis. He was still there. Mm-hmm. Who wasn't there, though? James Bucky Barnes, okay? Until this episode when the Cosmic Cube creates an anomaly. It changes the time stream. So my thought is Kang was wrong. He was there watching the time anomaly and looking at Captain America when he should have been looking at Bucky. And I think actually the time anomaly might be Bucky Barnes.
Could the time anomaly also be Cap touching the cube that creates it?
Yeah, the chain reaction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like maybe Kang sensed that.
So Cap is involved in the time anomaly, but Cap himself is not. The time anomaly.
But maybe, like you said, it's his thoughts are kind of misplaced. Where Bucky is the anomaly.
So that's
still interesting. I'm glad you brought that up.
So that's I wanted to tell you when we were covering Kang because but I couldn't because of this. Yeah. And you had even asked me in that episode 4, like, so Bucky's dead. Like, he's definitely blown up. And I'm like, sure, looks that way. But, like, the Cosmic Cube is this incredible MacGuffin.
So much time has passed. It was shocking to me. From that to now, because, like, it's been a few months since we recorded that, you know.
And you know, they use that dialogue of Steve yelling Bucky's name and seeing the explosion. That's come up a couple of times in this show. Mm-hmm. You see it in episode 4 when it first happened, obviously. You see it again in the Living Legend episode 8. I think there's even a third time you see it when maybe he's having like a flashback. But you've heard that a few times now. So you're primed as an audience member to know when you hear, even when you just hear him yelling no before he even says Bucky, you know when in time you are. I bet it was the Kang episode. I bet that was when we probably heard it again. So like when you see that blue sky and you hear that dialogue, you already know, oh, I'm about to see Bucky die. So they did a really good job of kind of priming you for it. And then when you see his body fall, kind of almost in the same angle that Steve's body fell from the wreckage.
I like the animation too. I like they zoomed in on his face and his eyes open. It was so it was very classic comic book. You know what it reminds me of is kind of like Superboy Prime and like Infinite Crisis. And he like pokes that hole in the universe, and then Jason Todd comes back alive.
Yeah.
I was drawing a lot of comparisons between Bucky Barnes and Red Hood and Jason Todd coming back alive, because I'm like, they both kind of came out around the same time.
Within a month.
Of Marvel.
It was within a month
in DC.
in publishing.
Yeah. Who did it first, Kyle?
There's a word for this, and I'm not going to remember it, but there's this. It's this kind of Carl Jungian thing of like every now and then people will arrive at similar ideas.
It was in the zeitgeist.
It's in the zeitgeist. Like there was something in the water, there's something in the air that just these characters who are historically supposed to stay dead in canon. Jason Todd maybe a little less than Bucky because he's been dead less amount of time, but they were both kind of held as like these two losses that Batman and Captain America had. And then around the same time, Brubaker and Judd Winnick and Jeff Johns or whoever it was both came to the conclusion that we need to bring these two back, and they need to be like hard ass murderers.
They need to be back.
They were. I think the Winter Soldier arc started around the same time as Under the Red Hood.
Now I do have to bring up that Jason Todd was teased in Batman Hush by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. So like maybe a little bit of the seed was in Batman beforehand, but they didn't commit to it. It ended up being Clayface.
Was Hush 2004? 2000?
Yes.
Okay, because Brubaker took over. Brubaker and Steve Epting took over Captain America in 2004. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
2004, 2005. So it would have been within a 12-month period of Hush coming out. It's still crazy
how close they were.
It is wild to me. And, these guys all go to shows together. They all work with editors who, like, go to bars and have drinks together. Like, who knows, like, what kind of conversations were happening where, like, an idea sprung another idea that sprung a thought, that sprung a story that both got pitched to different editors who independently thought they were great ideas. We're going to cover the Winter Soldier arc. I can tell you that now. Because this is obviously leading to that. So when we talk about that comic, we can talk about kind of the genesis of Bucky coming back. Because as a Cap fan, I can tell you, it was law, like in Marvel. Like you didn't bring him back. You could fake him out, like you could pretend to bring him back, and then it had to be a robot, or it had to be a dream, or it had to be like an illusion, or it had to be a shapeshifter, whatever. Like it couldn't be Bucky Barnes. It had to be. He could not come back.
It was like Uncle Ben,
Uncle Ben.
It was just like there's certain characters you don't kill.
That was the thought.
Bring back.
And so Brubaker had an idea, and he pitched it, and he had Tom Brevoort. I'll just tell this story. Tom Brevoort was kind of the custodian of the Marvel superhero line, right? So like you had your guys running X-Men, you had your guys running Spider-Man, and then Tom Brevoort was running like Avengers and Daredevil and the Avengers and things like that, and Captain America. And Brubaker said, I have a story, I want to bring Bucky back. And Brevoort said, you can't bring Bucky back. And he said, well, that's my idea. And he said, okay, well, if you want to bring Bucky back, here are all the questions I have. Like, and you have to answer all of them or you can't bring him back. And the questions were things like, if he's back, where has he been? Why haven't we heard? Why is he coming back now?
Yeah.
Why haven't we known where he has been this whole time? Like all these questions. And if you kind of think about how Winter Soldier unfolds, he answered all those questions.
I love that though. That's like classic world building, you know.
It's good editing.
Yeah, like tell me where this character's from. Tell me what they want. Tell me, you know, it's good to ask yourself these questions about these characters.
Because you know, even as a kid, like I was 12 years old, like, oh, I'm gonna bring Bucky back, like making your own like little fanfic and everything. Like, I feel like every Captain America fan probably at some point before 2005 was like, oh, I have a Captain America Bucky story. I know how to bring him back. Mm-hmm. Nothing is good. Nothing as fleshed out. Nothing as impactful. I genuinely think the Winter Soldier is probably the best Marvel character of the early 2000s outside of like Jessica Jones. Like he was incredibly successful.
One of the best MCU films.
Oh,
if I'm not wrong, yeah.
Top 3 MCU films.
Highly regarded, and it doesn't fall into that trap of like the big CGI fight at the end. It's a very personal conflict.
It's two people fighting at the end, and it's emotional, and
Yeah, it's great. Bunch of standout sequences, and much like Electro to Daredevil, you know, Winter Soldier is his own IP now. Yeah. He's his own big character name.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that, the popularity of it.
Absolutely. Well, and we're recording this before Thunderbolts comes out. But whoever knew you could put Bucky Barnes into a movie that had Captain America nowhere in sight? Mm-hmm. Like, I think that says a lot about that character, is that he's not headlining it, but he's heavily featured, and there is no Sam Wilson Captain America as far as we know, and there's no Steve Rogers certainly, but he is on his own 2 feet, like a central part of this story that they're going to tell. So obviously important, and this episode is going to adapt, is queuing up the fact that they're going to adapt it, and that Bucky is going to be a player in this series.
I'm excited to see how that plays out. I didn't see it coming because just like when this show came out, I wasn't sure if Winter Soldier was in the comics yet, or the timeline of all that. I'm a little shaky on all that. I certainly remember, I want to talk about this a little bit, going to comic book stores and just hearing the hype of that Brubaker run.
Oh my gosh.
It was like I wasn't even reading Cap. I was there like picking up my Spider-Man X-Men books, and it's like everybody's talking about it. It was the talk of the town.
It's actually incredible looking back, because I read Captain America going back to the Mark Waid, Ron Garney, Heroes Return run. So I'd been reading Captain America in his highs and his lows for, you know, nearly a decade at that point. And then you get to Ed Brubaker. I was in high school. It was the perfect age. You kind of could tell reading it that you were reading something important. You were reading something different. You were reading something special. You were reading something that was a high level that not other people weren't reading books at this level across the industry. Like, this was special. And then when you walk away and it's all done, you're kind of amazed that you got to participate in that. You know, I'm sure it's the same way people feel about whenever they read Frank Miller Daredevil. You know, or like, whenever they read like Simonson's Thor,
or like I read, you know, like Long Halloween.
Yeah,
you read Long Halloween, you're like, this is something special.
Yeah, and like you buy it off the rack, and you're like, this is important that I'm reading this. Like, it's incredible that I'm reading this. Yeah, and we're gonna talk more about that run. I'm so excited I get to tell you now. Like, we're gonna read Ed Brubaker's Steve Epting Captain America books, and it's going to be a treat. It's going to be a treat.
To talk about all that stuff. Yeah, it's very well regarded. I haven't touched a lot of it, but I'm excited to dive in.
I'm so glad that this cliffhanger landed for you, because it landed.
I think it's the best one.
It's seeded so well, and it really delivers. It's really, and it makes perfect sense in the story.
I was shocked. I was like, Kyle, Bucky, Bucky's back.
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, any more thoughts?
No, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we got to talk about it. I'm still impressed they compressed it all into one 20-minute episode. And I'm excited to talk Cosmic Cube comics with you. What about you, Carl?
I don't have any more thoughts other than this episode is really strong. You know, I love all the elements of the different parties fighting. I love like hearing politics of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all these contrasting viewpoints, and the Avengers are just caught in the middle. Like, I love all that stuff.
It's exciting.
A little bit of Siege there with all the political intrigue and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
All right. Great. Let's go to break, and when we come back, we'll talk Cosmic Cube stuff.
Comics.
Comics.
Hello, welcome back to Issues with Cartoons. We are now in our comic books segment, which will be covering Tales of Suspense 79, and this is the first appearance of the Cosmic Cube.
The Cosmic Cube debuts in this storyline, so we will be covering issues 79, 80, and 81. It's a three-parter, which I don't think happens all that often in these anthology comics. This was, I remember reading this in my Marvel Essentials as a kid, and this is one of my favorite stories from the Tales of Suspense era of Captain America. It's a very significant set of issues, a significant story. The Cosmic Cube as a plot device, as a MacGuffin, is central to a lot of Captain America comics, central to a lot of Marvel event comics, central to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right, a lot of that first arc and then
Phase 1 is all about the Cosmic Cube.
It's all centered around this.
Yeah, and as an aside, they do rename it the Tesseract in the movies, but make no mistake, that's the Cosmic Cube they're playing with.
It is the cube in the first Cap film.
I'll even argue it's a depowered version of the Cosmic Cube, because the function of the Cosmic Cube in this story is significantly different than what you see in the MCU, which is basically an energy source and a portal generator for the most part.
The only thing I wish this story had was its own covers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You only get one really solid Cosmic Cube cover.
I was reading this. I was like, this really is like broken up into 3 parts. They're like, 10 pages each.
Yep, 10 or 12.
It really is like an iconic Jack Kirby, Stan Lee story.
It is.
In Tales of Suspense, and it's like, I would almost put it on the same level as like Incredible Hulk #1.
Yeah.
Or early Fantastic Four, like where we meet Doom and stuff. Like it's that caliber.
One. Yeah, that one.
It's kind of a shame that it's a backup story.
Yeah, it has to also. For listeners who may not be familiar, Tales of Suspense was one of the many anthology books that Marvel put out. We've talked about Tales of Suspense on this podcast before, when we talked about Iron Man, but it was a co-book with Iron Man and Captain America, so they would share the book. And I think the page count was actually the same for both books, but they would alternate covers. Occasionally you would get a split cover where you would get a little bit of Iron Man and a little bit of Cap, but in this set of issues, they alternate, and you have a Captain America cover for issue 80, but 79 and 81 are both Iron Man covers, to your point, which is, they're good covers, but they're not Cosmic Cube covers, and it is a shame. It is a shame that we don't have kind of a run of Cosmic Cube covers for what is a very kind of epic story for a Captain America comic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, overall, it's great.
I'm glad you did, because this is the first time you've read it, right?
Yeah.
You've never.
Yeah, I've never read it before this. I think it's cool. I'm filling in the other side of the Marvel universe. Like, we've talked about this before. I read more Spider-Man, X-Men books probably growing up.
Right.
And it's fun going back to like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and seeing where the Cosmic Cube came from and stuff. I really enjoyed this, and it's well drawn.
Oh, the art in this is phenomenal, and worth noting too. Not to bury the lead, but another thing that makes this set of issues important is that it brings the Red Skull to the modern day. So up until this point in Captain America stories, we've seen Red Skull in flashback. A lot of Tales of Suspense stories were World War II Cap stories. They're very fun. I highly recommend them. One of my favorite Cap runs is the Tales of Suspense Stan Lee Jack Kirby run.
So say this brings Red Skull back. Now, we saw in Red Skull's first appearance that he's a human, and
right.
he's wearing like a Red Skull mask.
Yes.
How does this version differ, Kyle? And kind of bring me up to speed with all that.
To my knowledge, to my recollection, the Red Skull is a man with a mask until the 1980s. And then in the 1980s, he starts using this kind of red dust that kind of in the same way that Joker's gas Joker-fies people.
Smilex.
Yeah. Red Skull has a thing that like basically turns your face into a skull. And then in one issue, he gets that powder blown into his face and he becomes skullified. But as far as I can recall, for a long, long time, it was just a man in a skull mask.
I see.
Every live action adaptation of the Red Skull, they've gone the other way with it, where it's a man with a deformity. There have even been some comics that take place in World War II where they just make it a man with a deformed face. I'm thinking specifically of Fabian Nicieza and Kevin Maguire's Adventures of Captain America book from the 90s. That they just made him a man with a disfigurement. But yeah, in this book, as far as I can recall, he's just a man with a mask. He never takes the mask off, really. Yeah, it pretty much just becomes a part of who he is.
I was just wondering if it was a different character by name, like the identity.
Oh, sure.
As well, like does that change, or that's just he's the same one?
So
that's been in
the Red Skull story that we read for Captain America Comics #1, I think this is your question. I don't remember the name of the man, the businessman that was a spy for the Nazis and was the Red Skull. That character, that name, wasn't the Red Skull's real name.
I see.
Johann Schmidt is the real Red Skull. Now, I think that's a retcon, though. I think they explained away that other Americanized name as like either a false identity, or maybe it was even a man whose identity he stole. However it was.
However they retconned it.
Maybe he was an agent of the Red Skull. But Johann Schmidt is a German-born man with a Red Skull mask who was trained at the feet of Hitler. And you actually see that in the Tales of Suspense comics from World War II that in their flashback issues. But
all right, so
yeah,
we got this awesome splash page. You know, the Red Skull lives, and Cap's leaping at the camera, fighting
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to be some awkward phrasing until about the middle of this issue, and then we can call them AIM. But them is kind of the proto version of AIM, who was introduced in Tales of Suspense 78, which featured Nick Fury. So them is this kind of clandestine organization, this kind of secret terrorist group, and they are the ones who find the Red Skull. Really not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but yeah, that's who Cap is fighting, and it's an incredible splash. I mean, the action sequences in these Tales of Suspense Cap books is what makes them stand out. I mean, really showcasing that dynamism.
I like this lady in the bottom corner of the opening splash page, though. She's just trying to get home with her groceries.
She can't be bothered.
Yeah,
well, in all of them.
She's just staring off. You know, Cap's just fighting 3 dudes at the same time, and she's just like, I gotta get home. My husband's worried.
Well, and you know, I love that you point that out, because that's actually the kind of the strange conceit of this opening fight is this major fight is going on, and no one's really paying attention. And it's because they've all been hypnotized to ignore the action. And the only one in the crowd who knows that they're even there is Cap. So everyone kind of thinks he's gone crazy. So it's this really interesting hook where Cap is fighting these terrorists in these goofy outfits and no one's paying attention. They all think he's kind of lost it. But yeah, you're right. Like, everyone's just kind of being nonchalant about it, not really caring, thinking Cap's just, I don't know, punching the air, I guess.
Mine means something out of, like, the Adam West show.
Yeah very like, kind of campy, very kitschy.
Yeah, it's silly, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Comic book science, for sure.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, these two agents are flying back in their very cool looking Kirby ship, and talking about how their hypno helmet worked, and how they're going to be able to eliminate Captain America easily now. And then their supreme leader calls them to attention, and in a sort of unglamorous, unglorified panel, the Red Skull enters the scene.
Yeah, and he's smoking away,
smoking a pipe with his Hugh Hefner robe, like his lounge coat.
He's more sitting into his he's like entrepreneur role, as leader of this organization.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got invoices to send out. He's got a. He's had a long day at the office.
Yeah,
so
he's been day trading all day as Hydra stocks.
But at this point, we get a recounting of the last battle between Captain America and the Red Skull, and I think this is original to this comic. I don't think this is a retelling of an actual event that is canon up until this point.
I wanted to ask you about that.
To my knowledge, this is the first time we see this fight. They're in a bunker, and the bunker collapses. Cap gets away, but Skull and these two Nazi stooges are trapped in the rubble, and I think there's some gas, an experimental gas is released, and that's what keeps them young in suspended animation.
I love getting that. I love getting this backstory of like how is Red Skull in modern time with Cap, and I love finally getting that here.
I think my favorite
piece of the puzzle.
I think my favorite part about it is that these two random soldiers also got suspended animation. So you get these big operatic characters in costumes who are like basically going to live forever because they're cartoon characters, and they get revived. And you're like, oh sure, like of course they got revived. But then these just two random German guys get kind of roped into this science fiction fantasy event. I thought it was pretty funny. But I love that panel of the fight in the bunker, like these two figures just fighting in shadow.
It reminds me of the end of the MCU film where Cap and Red Skull are fighting, and Red Skull gets absorbed by the Cosmic Cube. It kind of has that vibe to it.
Yeah, sure. Like these two titans kind of colliding.
One final showdown.
Exactly.
Before it ends.
So the people who fished him out of the rubble are them, who will come to find out are also advanced idea mechanics. They're AIM, and they would go by AIM from here on out. So he's kind of having to play nice with them because he owes his revival to them. But he's kind of, he's the Red Skull. He's mechanizing to run the whole show eventually. But meanwhile, Cap's kind of having an existential crisis because he thinks he might be delusional. So he goes to a shrink, and he's talking about how he's wondering if he's losing his mind. And just as the doctor is trying to tell him that nothing is wrong, an agent appears in the therapy office and does the exact same thing, and mesmerizes the doctor to not see him. And so Cap basically looks like he's fighting a ghost, and fighting nothing but air. And the shrink starts thinking that we need to give you some serious treatment. But even this fight is exciting and cool to watch, with that strange dissonance of all this crazy action and then just this.
The acting on the psychologist is perfect.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say.
He's got a notebook in his hand. He's taking notes.
He has his back to him.
Cap's fighting the them agent. He's lighting a cigarette and walking around and stuff. It's really good.
It is fascinating because you're used to this crazy Kirby dynamic action, and then you just have these basically stationary, casual conversation figures in the background. It's really an interesting juxtaposition. I like it.
It's fun, and Kirby's definitely having fun. You can tell.
This issue is inked by Frank Giacoa. He doesn't ink the next issue, but does a great job of rendering running the events.
Oh, it's just on page 8 we get AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics.
Finally on page 8 get them changes their name to Advanced Idea Mechanics. AIM, they're the beekeeping outfit agents, the one that MODOK runs in the episode. Another staple in Marvel Comics lore. And at the bottom, right under the AIM panel, in the bottom corner, you get the first appearance of the Cosmic Cube. It's enough to stagger the imagination of a wizard. We call it a Cosmic Cube, and it well may be the most potent device in all the world. So there it is, the plot device of the day, the one that we all came here for, and it's going to lead to some fun storytelling.
It's good. I like how horrifying this side view of the Red Skull is.
His face is really, really effective, and I love how Kirby draws the Red Skull's face.
Yeah, it looks good, but yeah, the Cosmic Cube is officially here, and AIM as well.
Yeah. So this Hypno Helmet kind of gets dealt with in the final 2 pages.
Manchurian Candidate character.
Yeah,
almost.
That's what it feels like.
He's
It is what it feels like. Yeah, so this guy comes up and talks to Cap and says, I remember you from the war, and they're having this nice conversation. Almost makes me wonder if this is an artistic rendering of someone Kirby knew. Because he's got like specific details about the battle he was in. And he's just got a very distinctive looking face.
Well, they say that Kirby was a movie buff. He was always going to the movies and stuff, so it might be an actor he likes. You know, he's very famously, pulled from references of that era.
Although Kirby also served in the military during World War II and had kind of a lot of traumatic experiences from that time. So I do wonder too if he's pulling something from there also.
He might be.
Contact at IssuesWithCartoons.com if you have an answer. So yeah, basically Cap is talking to this guy, and this AIM agent is sneaking up on him and getting ready to shoot him point blank.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's this issue or the next one, but they keep bringing up that these brainwashed AIM agents have like more of a will to fight.
Yeah.
Because they are, they're being brainwashed, so they're more, what's the word? They're
more ruthless, more cutthroat.
They're carefree.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like going in and
no regard for their own safety. They're just there to wreck things.
Yeah. They don't have their identity anymore. They're pretty much just there to kill.
Yeah, they're drones, and again, they're dressed like beekeepers. They're dressed like beekeepers, and I think that's intentional. That they would be these kind of drone figures. So just when they think they have Cap in their crosshairs, Cap reveals that actually he knew they were there the whole time. Because this time the plan was Cap will be hypnotized with the crowd, and he won't know that they're there until it's too late. But turns out that he had Tony Stark create a secret circuit board to hide underneath the letter A on his mask to protect him from hypnosis. But in the fight, he finds out that the Red Skull is back, and so next issue he's going to meet him head on. And
that's the cliffhanger, and great setup.
I love the look on his face, like the close up on his eyes, like
he knows
this is like the worst case scenario for him. It's like the worst person in all of human history is back, and he has to fight him again.
My arch nemesis has returned from time.
Yeah. All that gas kept him young.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's just dwell on this issue 80 cover real quick, because it is really, really good.
Yeah, they switch it up where Cap is featured on the cover instead of Iron Man and Submariner.
And you make a great point though that like for such an important story. Like, they gave Iron Man and Namor a cover.
That's what I thought. That's ridiculous.
And I guess that's that speaks to the fact that they didn't know what they had.
They didn't know until retrospect.
No idea.
There's so many iconic things from the Marvel Universe here. Cosmic Cube, AIM, Red Skull returning to this time. There's a lot of like key things in this story. I wish I read this sooner, or when I was a kid. It was, like I said, I really enjoyed reading this.
You know what would have been cool? I don't know if they did this. if I could go back to 2011 when the first Avenger movie is coming out, when Captain America: First Avenger is coming out, wouldn't this be a nice little like single issue collection of like all 3 parts under this cover?
Would have been perfect.
In one little like hand, like that would have been nice. Do like a treasury size or something.
Is there a collection that does that? Like I would love to have this.
Yeah,
story.
it would be cool if they did like a reissuing of it as like a Cosmic Cube special or whatever.
It's an important part of the universe, in my opinion.
For sure, and in Captain America comics, I can't stress enough. Like a lot of the major Captain America runs. A lot of those significant storylines feature the Cosmic Cube. I love this splash of Captain America on the opening of this story. Notable that this issue is inked by Don Heck, who we've talked a lot about.
Yeah,
and he does a great job inking him. I really like his inks on Kirby's artwork. It looks great.
Don Heck's an awesome artist in his own right.
Yes, he is. So it is funny because this incredible splash of Cap is him describing action off screen, where he says an explosion's happening above him, and I love this scene because there's this escape capsule, and he dives into the water where this capsule landed, and there's the big AIM letters are on the back, and he pulls this man in a beehive outfit out, pulls him out onto the dock, and it's this AIM agent who's like nearly dying, saying that he was trying to warn people that the Cosmic Cube is about to fall into the hands of the Red Skull. Mm-hmm. And I love that as an opener for this.
I like this guy on the dock that's like, look, it's Captain America. He fished that fella out of the river. There's just some random commentator hanging out on the dock. Like, look, it's Captain America.
I love there's so many superheroes in New York. They're probably just like, it's like a celebrity sighting. It's just like in LA, like it probably happens all the time. And there are all these guys, these tourists who are like, oh, look, it's George Clooney. Or whatever.
Look, it's the Thing. He's beating up those kids on Yancey Street.
Oh, man. Tick that box, everybody. We got Yancey Street mentioned in a Captain America comic. We will mention it every episode. I love it. I bet Steve Rogers was picked on by like the 1940s iteration of the Yancey Street.
I want that comic book so bad.
Yeah,
let's
1,000% they gave him swirlies. Yeah.
Screw the history of Captain America. Give me the history of the Yancey Street gang.
Yeah, going all the way back to 1940, picking on. Like I think even Nick Fury was in the Yancey Street gang. Like I think that's canon.
We could tie that in.
Anyway, back to this. So the Skull is waiting on the Cosmic Cube to show up, and he's kind of tracking the movement of all these agents, and I just gotta pay I gotta pay a nod to page 4, panel 3.
Okay.
That shot of the Red Skull, incredibly animated and so just expressive. It's so good.
He's like full blown like Bond villain in this story.
He is.
He has like a secret base. He's wearing like all these suits. Like his suit has a flower on it. Like, I wonder, like, was Jack watching Bond? Like, I gotta wonder now.
I feel like, yeah. I mean, this would have been, when did Dr. No come out?
No, early 60s.
Okay, so, like, Bond is definitely in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we know that because Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., was going on continuously with this.
Yeah.
And we know that was a Bond ripoff. I'm sure this was definitely paying lip service to that.
It feels like it.
But there's this moment where the Red Skull shakes his underling's hand, and he reveals that he just put him into a mind control state, and that's how he got the Keeper of the Cube to agree to bring the Cosmic Cube to him. Is he's basically got them under his spell. So he's making his moves against AIM, and this is a super chilling sequence because he's telling this underling that he's mind controlled, and that he's basically planted a device to like have complete control over him. And he tells him, take out your gun, release the safety, and I'm going to leave the room. And then he closes the door and smells his flower, and now I don't have to be disturbed by the sight of any unpleasantness. And you just see this crack sound effect. So they, in this comic, you know, this adage that comics aren't for kids anymore or whatever. This is 1960s. Like, this is super bleak and dark. Like,
this guy
mind controls this guy to kill himself.
Yeah.
I was super surprised by that. But I love that shot of the skull sniffing that flower. Like, the body language and the acting again.
That sells it really well.
Really well. Just his completely unbothered by the cruelty he's just inflicted.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes it feel so much less like a still image when Kirby draws scenes.
I know. It's just a guy standing there smelling a flower.
Yeah.
But it has so much performance in it.
Yeah, it adds a lot. It adds a lot to these old Kirby comics.
Yeah.
I read, like, Marvel comics by other creators, even, like, modern ones, and the acting is lost sometimes. Yeah, it's like the characters don't really perform.
Yeah, it's interesting that that's something that doesn't always... Because so much of the Marvel style that they emulate is the action. But they almost stop that when the fights are stopped. Like, the action stops when the fights stop. For Kirby, the action never stops. There's always action. It could be as benign as someone walking into a room, but there's action to it.
Yeah.
Him smelling a flower, there's action to it.
There's movement.
Movement.
Yeah.
I love the panel right below that where Cap's leaping off of a experimental manned missile. I like how it's written on there, so you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, like.
And he leaps onto this. Yeah, exactly. And he leaps onto this. Branding is on point for these vehicles, by the way, because he leaps from a shield vehicle onto an AIM vehicle, and then he's just holding on for dear life like Tom Cruise. In the next panel on this plane,
Tom Cruise, like Mission Impossible.
And he breaks on into this ship, and it's such a cool scene because it's this crowded space where he's getting into this gunfight with this AIM soldier, and I just love it. He ejects the seat, and they're both hanging out in midair, and it's exciting. It's exciting to read.
It is a great sequence. I like pieces of the plane flying off, and he's in the ejector seat.
And this,
it's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous to go from out of the plane to, like, you can see the curvature of the Earth. Kind of like, and then they're like back down on this island, and Red Skull's waiting there with his binoculars. How long was Red Skull there with his binoculars?
Waiting the whole time. Since he let that dude shoot himself, he was like, "All right, I gotta go get my binoculars and just wait until Cap shows up."
He has surprise Caps there, though. He's like, it's Captain America.
So was he just out on a walk? Yeah, that's fine. I love that rendering on his face. Again, Don Heck does amazing. On Cap's face in that top left of page 7.
Yeah.
So good. And that big wide panel in the middle there is just so dynamic.
Yeah.
But this is the showdown, right? This is the showdown together again for the first time.
I love Red Skull throwing Cap's shield back at
him. Wild, right?
That was fun.
It's so good. And then in the next panel, Cap calls him a loser, which I think is really funny. You were always a loser, Skull. But yeah, you get this kind of, it's so interesting because they're both kind of thinking to themselves. It's like a battle of wits and brawn, because Cap's like, all right, I just need to make the Red Skull lose his temper. And then he does. And then the Red Skull's like, damn it, I let him goad me into losing my temper.
I love this supervillain rant. I'm going to read it real quick that the Red Skull says. He's like, so long as men take liberty for granted, so long as they laugh at brotherhood, sneer at honesty, and turn away from faith, so long all the forces of the Red Skull creep over closer to final victory.
I love that you read that in a very different accent from the Red Skull's accent. A lot of those themes felt very familiar to me, Carl.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
definitely.
No reason to talk more about that, though. So, and so he goads the Red Skull into losing his cool and hitting him. And then he's like, I was a fool. I allowed my hatred of him to rule my judgment. And then he's like, well, 2 can play at this game. And so he knows how to push Cap's buttons. And I think this is what highlights the rivalry. It's not just the physical contest. It's These two know each other and hate each other so much that they know exactly what pushes them to act out in a way that they can control.
They don't just see themselves as physical opponents. They hate each other's philosophies.
Yeah, they're moral opposites. They're moral enemies, and it's. I've talked before. I know Carl's probably sick of me saying this. There are supervillains who have moral grayness to them, who are complex, sympathetic, and the Red Skull's not that, and I love it about him.
Yeah, he's just
uncomplicated.
For the sake of being evil. He's Emperor Palpatine.
Emperor Palpatine is exactly right. Yeah.
He's like, I love just taking over the galaxy and being evil.
Yeah, I just want to kill everybody. That's exactly it. Yeah. And I think for a character like Captain America, who is so good, there's a place for...
it's the contrast.
Like, I like Superman and Lex Luthor because Luthor is very complex and complicated. But I like Batman having the Joker because the Joker's just bad. Mm-hmm. Or like, I like Daredevil and Bullseye. Bullseye's just bad. Like, I just like that. Every now and then you get these characters who you really just want to see them on their back with bruised faces because they deserve it.
This is what I want to see. I want to see Red Skull in his lair, and I want to see Red Skull yelling that, America's dead to him.
Yeah, the Bond villainy. The Bond villainy of it all. Yeah.
Yeah, Stan Lee really sells it. This is actually some great dialogue.
Incredible, yeah. Great character work on this. And the fight is really exciting because then he pushes Cap over the edge and Cap lunges on him and then he gasses him. This final page of this issue, after he reveals that he had a gas emitter under his shirt the whole time.
It's such like Kirby tech crazy comic stuff. Like, look, my emitter.
We've talked before about how Kirby can tell he's running out of pages. like Kirby's like, oh crap, I have to wrap up this plot and get us to the end of the issue. So here's just a random plot device to
it happens a lot.
It does. But you get this amazing panel, this page where the Keeper has brought the Cosmic Cube. Mm-hmm. And this famous panel of the skull reaching for the cube, and he's just mesmerized by it. Like it's like Gollum in the Ring. It like is.
Yeah, he looks enchanted.
Yeah.
It's like he can see the power coming out of it, and the way Kirby draws it and the skull's expression when he sees the cube is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. His eyes are like all widened and he's reaching towards it and stuff. It's fantastic.
And I don't know if this is the Masterworks coloring or if this is how it was originally presented, but the yellow shining on the Red Skull's face. After you've seen like this bright red all along and then it's just yellow, like it's enveloping even him. I think it's so good.
It's like the Ark from Indiana Jones.
It is like the Ark of Indiana Jones.
Where the Nazis are all reaching towards the Ark and stuff. It comes across like that.
And doesn't it make sense that is kind of how they treat it in the movie? They treat it like the Ark of the Covenant in the movie.
The correct choice.
Yeah,
to adapt
absolutely,
it that way.
Sure, for sure.
I rewatch it.
Anytime these kind of stories come up, it does give you Indiana Jones vibes. And then he wishes away this AIM agent, and
consign you to another dimension.
Yep, crazy. And he's just like, I'm going to lift this rock just because I feel like it. And then Cap wakes up from his stupor from being gassed, and he's like,
uh-oh.
Yeah, he's like, uh-oh. It's like his worst nightmares come true. Like, the person he hated the most, he found out is alive like 10 minutes ago. And now he's the most powerful being in existence.
This is why it's great. It's like, we begin with Cap and we end with Cap.
Yeah.
Like, just to give it that little bookend of like, okay, let's cut back to Cap real quick for a little bit. Like, the comic would have felt weird if it was just like Red Skull reaching for the Cosmic Cube and it ends. I think we get this little character moment with Cap and then it's
about how it's bad for Cap. Yeah. You're right.
And it's, full marks for the writing there and the pacing.
Yes.
I guess the pacing.
Yeah, the plotting and the pacing, yeah.
Yeah.
So we go to issue 81. Again, I don't want to harp on it too long. It's a nice image of Titanium Man. It is. But
the cover.
The cover. It's a nice. 81. The cover of 81 is a nice image of Titanium Man. I'm sure if I were reading the Iron Man story, I would be excited. But like then you see this splash of the Red Skull Supreme holding the Cosmic Cube aloft in the air while the winds are blowing around him, and he's declaring himself, the supreme ruler, and how the universe will bend to his wishes, and every wish will be obeyed instantly. And Cap is creeping up behind him, and just the stakes are super high, and it's so exciting. And
it's a cool build-up.
Yeah.
The first 2 issues do a great job, getting to this, building up the stakes of this MacGuffin.
And now we're in Act 3. This follows the 3-act structure incredibly well. Act 1 establishes all the pieces. Act 2 ends with the lowest point, and Act 3 is the final confrontation.
It's a character arc.
It is.
Yeah, it's great. That's a really good point.
I love this sequence. He kicks Skull in the back, and the whole time he's just trying to get him to let go of the cube.
I can't get over this close-up on page 2.
Oh, yeah.
Of the Skull's face. I see
how
comic
craggly.
artists do close-ups and stuff, but this one's just, I don't know, it's rendered so well. I love that Red Skull's eyes aren't even. It kind of gives that horror kind of vibe to it.
Yep, that kind of disfigurement sort of thing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
To your point, though, that doesn't look like a mask. It looks like his face. So maybe I misunderstood kind of the change. Maybe their interpretation is that it is his face. But regardless, it doesn't matter. It's incredible rendering either way. And then I love this page where he's just imagining life as ruler of the world.
I love when Kirby goes on these little segues. He does this a lot in Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom. Where Doom imagines for a second what it's like to conquer the world, or the Thing often has fantasies of different things happening in his life. But the Red Skull's doing it here. He's imagining himself taking over the universe with the Cosmic Cube.
I feel like this is an event that needs to happen where the Red Skull carves out an intergalactic empire.
God, don't give Marvel the idea. It'll be an 18-issue miniseries right here.
Kirby did it in 5 panels.
Yeah.
I think it's so crazy, and it's so. I think that was
House
the panel.
Of Skull, right?
That was the part that surprised me, though, because you don't. I know, in the MCU, he becomes a cosmic figure,
supreme monarch of all Earth.
Yeah. It's so interesting that he reveals his actual ambition is to become a universal threat. He wants to expand the Reich across star systems. It's really horrifying.
Yeah, it's crazy. The furthest reaches of space is wild.
Oh man, every page on this is just full of excitement.
So he uses the cube or his cosmic power now, and he's manifesting enemies out of the ground for Cap to fight. It's wild.
It's so wild, and so that gives Kirby a chance to just draw meat and potatoes punching fights amidst all the cosmic stuff, and just look how big that panel is. So you have this great classic 4-panel page with great punches and great fights, and then you turn the page in this half page panel of Cap just lunging at this mud man. Just so incredible to look at, study the movement, the body language, the dynamism. It doesn't even make anatomical sense necessarily.
No.
But the movement and the drama is all in there.
It is a different layout than you normally see Kirby do. We've seen this 4-panel layout, in the Tales of Asgard.
Yeah.
And some other classic Kirby, Fantastic Four, I keep bringing up over and over. But, this kind of breaks out of the norm for him to do, a 3-panel.
Yeah, page. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then that panel where Skull is just kind of standing over him.
Mm-hmm. He defeats his minion.
But this page, there's so much to talk about on page 7.
Yeah.
Because he zaps him, and it's incredible. Just the zap, the first panel. Great shot of him being zapped.
Yeah.
And then you get this incredible cosmic image of Captain America being enveloped in cosmic Kirby energy. And he's basically trying to do mind games again to survive. And he placates Skull's ego to survive. And so then the next panel is him bowing to the Red Skull, an incredible visual. And then the next panel is this great body language of the Skull considering how he's going to humiliate Steve Rogers as his new minion. And then you get another amazing panel of a supplicant Cap and a cackling Red Skull. And then, like the cherry on top, is this golden armor.
Yeah, so Red Skull does full DBZ transformation here. He transforms into this cosmic version of himself with armor and stuff. It's so fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it's
great design on that armor.
Yeah, it's just all right, now you gotta fight Super Suit Skull, I guess, here for a little bit.
This is a tease for season 2 of the show, but we're gonna read a Captain America issue in season 2, and it features the Red Skull and the Cosmic Cube. And he brings this armor back in that issue.
Really?
It's from from the Wade. I don't think it was Garney. It might have been Ron Garney. It might have been Adam Kubert. Regardless, we're going to see this armor again. That's cool. This armor is a significant plot point because Cap basically submits himself to the Red Skull in order to get close enough to lunge at him, and wrests the cube from his grasp, but doing that kind of causes everything to become unstable, and the ground gives way from under them. And so then on page 9, banger after banger after banger on these 4 panels.
Yeah, this
incredible operatic panel of Cap and Skull. It's like Duel of the Fates. There. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, there's this big struggle.
Yes.
And it's Captain America and Red Skull are intertwined. The cube gets shaken out of Red Skull's hand, like Kyle said. And now the ground beneath them is breaking. And the water is rising. And they're falling into the water. And the cube is becoming lost.
The world is falling apart, literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the cube is fallen. And in panel 2 of page 9... the Skull leaps for it. Look at his face. Look at the body language of that leap. The cube in the foreground.
It reminds me of when Joker disappears at the end of Batman the Animated Series or something, and his death is ambiguous.
Yeah.
The same thing happens here.
Yeah.
We don't know what happens to Red Skull. We know Red Skull is desperate to get the cube and he jumps after it, but it's the space between the panels that tells the story.
Yes.
We're page 10. And Cap emerges from the water. No Red Skull.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And that panel of him on the rock.
I love that.
That's so good. Great. Whatever the secret of the awesome power, it's returned to the bosom of the eternally rolling sea, where I pray it will remain forever. And I'm sorry, Captain America, but it will not remain there forever. And then at the end, it's so chilling.
See, so the last 3 panels at the bottom of the page are this little tease of the light shining from the cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very Ark of the Covenant in the warehouse kind of thing, where it's just still out there.
Dude, the first Captain America film borrows so much from this.
It does. I'm glad you point that out.
Surprising amount.
I'm glad you point that out.
From this 3-issue arc.
It really does. Even down to where they have to fish the cube out of the sea.
Yeah.
And the cube falling out of the Skull's grasp, and being his undoing. I love that. So the reason I said the armor was a plot point is because when he falls into the water, the armor, the weight of the gold armor, pulls him down, and he, ostensibly drowns. He presumably drowns because of it.
Yeah.
And the hubris and how that ties into his undoing.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
It's beautiful. Yeah. But I like your point about how this is very similar. I almost wonder if that first Avengers film would have been stronger if they had adhered more closely to the cube of this book.
I wish the film would have had this cosmic armor.
Wouldn't that have been bad? So they really did a Kirby armor in the first phase of the MCU. That would have been so good.
Anime transformation sequence with
starring
Red
Hugo
Skull.
Weaving.
Yeah,
that would have been
with Hugo Weaving his skull, and he's just here's my magic armor. Now let's battle.
I really like it. And I think the Cosmic Cube as a device is brilliant because only bad things can come of it.
Look, so what we're trying to say is Tales of Suspense 79, essential Marvel reading.
79 through 81, I really do think if you read, I'll say, if you read one batch of Silver Age Captain America comics, you can't go wrong with this one.
This is it.
It's really strong. It really gives you everything you need. I've read this dozens of times. I know this was your first read through. I'm glad to hear that you liked it.
Yeah, it's great.
I can't say enough good things about it. I do think the Tesseract should have been more of a cosmic cube. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to elaborate on or add on before we close this out?
Great Kirby art, great Stan Lee story. I wish there was a collection.
Yeah.
I wish there was just put these 3 issues together and put them in Walmart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a standout
so
Marvel story.
So easy to do.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there is like a Cosmic Cube collection that probably includes a whole bunch of other stuff. Because like
stuff that came
the
later,
Cosmic Cube comes back all the time. Like Thanos tries to get the Cosmic Cube, but it's almost always the Red Skull and Captain America. Like the Cosmic Cube is almost a Captain America MacGuffin. It's almost a Captain America plot device. You see it the most in Cap stories. It doesn't veer outside of Captain America all that often until you get to modern comics where everything spills out into everything. But even as recently as like the Hydra Cap storyline was a Cosmic Cube story. So it all kind of is born from this storyline.
Yeah, the history starts here. Kyle, anything you want to promote, talk about? Any comics you're working on?
Ko-fi.com/kylewindle is where you find the comics I have already released. Cornelius Armstrong, Thunderduck, Mad Science Rejects, and all of their iterations and sequels. You can also commission me there. And I'm always plugging away at stuff, Carl. I'm always plugging away at stuff. What about you?
Same. I'm always trying to make the next page too, I guess. Shogun Bear in the House of Horrors is available on my website, www.carllucasdraws.bsky.social. I have a couple other minis there, different IP I'm trying to develop. Reach out at contact@issueswithcartoons.com for any kind of inquiries if you want to commission me or Kyle, or if you just like the show and you want to add to the conversation.
Yeah, you can follow us also on Bluesky, Instagram, TikTok. Leaving anything out? YouTube and Spotify are where we are located. So if you could if you're listening to this, if you could rate and review us, if you could share with anyone you know who would be interested in this stuff. We're really proud of the show, and we want to bring you and the people in your lives along with us as we read and watch all these cool pieces of art that we get to talk about.
Yeah, and those ratings on Spotify really help us get out into the algorithm more. So me and Kyle really appreciate that stuff.
We have to placate the algorithm gods, and you're going to help us if you could.
That's right. We have to entice them with cosmic cubes and.
If I could touch the Cosmic Cube, I would wish for more ratings and reviews. All right. Until next time, though, more issues to come.
Tune in next time.
You